Now, back to that South Park episode, a central story arc of it is the perceived importance of maintaining a brand and selling yourself as a product. Now, we know Meghan has ambitions. There's been rumours about her political ambitions. Is her brand damaged now? Is she got a realistic chance of moving into politics at some point?
I think it's completely destroyed. Do the American public want somebody's husband in the White House who openly admits to drug use, who openly wore a Nazi costume? And not only did he wear a Nazi costume, but he blames his brother and his wife for wearing the Nazi costume. Do they want somebody in the White House that can't keep a secret, that is proven to be so utterly disloyal? I think, that scene you showed, that's actually my favorite scene from the South Park. It's hilarious, but it does give you, Harry should have never gone into details about his private parts, and he shouldn't have gone into details about Williams. It just shows you that this is a really immature couple, and I don't think in any way, shape, or form that the American public would allow her the opportunity to move into the White House.
Now, let's have a look at another clip from this episode.
We want privacy! We want privacy! Thanks for having us on the show. It's so awesome to be here. It's great. So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family. You've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Wah. Yes, that's right, friend. You see, my wife and I are totally like, you should write a book because your family's like stupid, and then so are like journalists. So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist. We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard.
Like the best comedy, it's not only funny, but it's pretty accurate. It tells you a couple of things there, the name of the book, and I just liked how Meghan answers for him when he starts to speak. That kind of was I guess, a dig at the dynamic in their relationship as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for anybody to deny that Meghan started burning bridges first. Meghan, they say that there's this sexism in blaming Meghan for everything that's happening, but Meghan seems to be the domino effect. She blew off her family first. How did we not all look at each other and think it was strange that only her mother was attending their wedding, the biggest wedding in the world, but Oprah Winfrey and George Clooney are invited? I mean, that was the first red flag, right? So I don't think it's fair to call it sexist for us to look at Meghan Markle and think, are you the problem? When Harry never showed these kind of he never showed this kind of vindictiveness or revenge before.
You're 100% right, but I've got to say, I spotted it back then, and I was absolutely attacked for it because everyone was loving Harry and Meghan. You could not question the validity of this love story, but to me it always smelt, because had you not have any cousins or uncles or aunties or any family at your wedding, only your mum, that just red flags everywhere. And then we had George Clooney there, and him and Amal were asked, how do you know the happy couple? And they said, we've never met them before. They were strangers and they're showing up, and you had people who'd met them once showing up to their wedding. Red flags everywhere. And you mentioned Meghan falling out with her own family before Harry fell out with his. The Markle v. Markle lawsuit is still underway. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I can tell you that this is excruciatingly painful for Meghan, because this is, Samantha Markle could potentially make this a circus. She has specifically said, I intend to ask Harry and Meghan through depositions if they believe that the royal family are racist. That's not necessarily relevant to her case, but it does put Harry and Meghan in a really uncomfortable position and could potentially continue to embarrass and humiliate the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They're, of course, fighting it tooth and nail because they don't want it to pursue to a jury. However, if Samantha Markle breaks down and says to the judge, look, I had every intention of monetizing my relationship with my sister, and for her to go on Oprah and to say in Finding Freedom, we're not really related, I grew up an only child, I don't really know this woman, that negatively affects my income, and that is defamation, I mean, this could go forward, Rita. And I know it sounds tacky to monetize off your family, but what are Harry and Meghan doing?
Well, exactly. They can hardly complain. They're doing precisely the same thing. It's all a little bit Jerry Springer, isn't it? It's all a bit tawdry and low rent. But this is what we're dealing with.